Hi, welcome back to Therapy Designs. If you're new to this channel, my name is Kelly, and this channel is all about creating print-on-demand designs using Canva. So if that is something that you're interested in, please do stick around. So in today's video, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how you can create this design right here. This is a mom design. It can be used for mom for any time of the year, so it's a great evergreen design, but it can also be marketed specifically for Mother's Day, as that is coming up soon. This is sort of that boho style mom design too, which is very popular right now, especially on things like Etsy, but again, you can sell it on any platform, and I show it on a t-shirt, but you can still put it on any product that you like. So if you're interested in learning how I did this design, please do stick around. So here we are on Canva's homepage again, and I am going to be designing for a t-shirt. So we'll go ahead and start with a custom size. So I'll go to the right-hand side where it says custom size. I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to go ahead and select 4500 by 5400 pixels. This will pull up a blank page, and I'm going to go ahead and start by selecting my background color. I do prefer to design for the darker color shirts because they do tend to sell the best. So I'm going to go ahead, click on my blank canvas, go to the top left where it says background color, and I will be selecting black. And so this is going to be a fun Mother's Day design that is really just a mom design. So it can be used year-round, not just for Mother's Day, but it does make a great gift for mom, whether it's for mom's birthday or a Christmas present for mom, or just a I love you present for mom, whatever. It's going to be a fun one. So we're going to go ahead and start. Go ahead and pick the fonts. So not fonts, but we'll put the text in. So hit T on your keyboard. That will pull up a text box. And we're going to start by just putting the word good. And so here is our start, by the way. This is going to say good moms say bad words, by the way. So here's good. And then I'm going to pull up another text box. And then this one is going to say moms. You know, pretty straightforward. Moms is going to be a little bit bigger. You can see the way this is going to go. I'm going to hit T. This one I'm going to do in all caps, and it's going to say a bad word. So, good moms say bad words. All right, so it is going to be something like this. Now, this is a fun niche. You can do this 1,000 different ways. Obviously, there's no end to the ways that you can take this saying and, you know, create different design styles for it. I'm going to show you a specific design style, and then of course you can make 1,000 versions of this yourself with different design styles. Good news, this is not trademarked, so you are free to use it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pick some fonts, and so I want to do sort of a little bit of that boho style design, that sort of simplistic style that is pretty popular right now. The same thing with using the colors and whatnot. But let's go ahead and start by picking our fonts, and then we can sort of decorate from there. So the fonts that I liked for this was one called Allemande, I think. Let's see. Allemande Regular. Now, I do think this is one that I got off Creative Fabrica, so you may not have this one in your Canva fonts. Of course, you can look for whatever font that works best for you, so you don't have to use the fonts that I use. If you do want to use this font, you can go to Creative Fabrica. I'm pretty sure this is one of the free fonts that you can get and download. So if you go to Creative Fabrica and you look for the free fonts and you search specifically for Allemande Regular, you should be able to download it, and then you should be able to go ahead and just upload it onto Canvas. Okay, so if I just go to fonts, you should see down here it says upload a font. This is where you can upload any font that you've downloaded. So if you did download this from Creative Fabrica, you could upload it right here. And again, there's tons of different script style fonts that you can use. So by no means do you have to use the one that I am using, but this is the one that I ended up picking out for this design because I thought that it looked nice and it sort of flowed together well in terms of the words. So what I wanted to do is make the good and the moms sort of look as though they fit together nicely. And so the way that you do that is something like that. So you can see how the curves sort of go together. And so sometimes you have to play a lot with fonts to find fonts where this works together. So it's always fun to go ahead, play with your fonts, play with your script fonts, and see what you can do in terms of making words fit together in an aesthetically pleasing way. And so that just happened to work really well, but it did take me a little bit of playing to come up with, you know, this combination right here. And then right here where it says say bad words, I was going to go with another font here. And I do also think this is one that I got from Creative Fabrica. And so this one was called Antioquia, something like that. But again, if you wanted it, you can get it off Creative Fabrica pretty easily. It is going to come up here. Now for this one, rather than making it bigger to make it fit down here, because I do want it to fit in this space, but I don't want it to be too big. What I actually want to do is keep it relatively small and increase the spacing between the letters. So to do that, I can go ahead up to the top where you see spacing, so it's an arrow up and down, click that, and then I can play with my letter spacing here. So what I can do is space those letters out a little bit farther. And I got to pull this out so it's all on one thing. But then when I got the letters spaced a little bit more, I can do something like that. And so I think that that looks pretty cool how I've got that there. I can make it a little bit smaller if I want it to stop short of that one curve. And I can even bring it up a little bit higher. And so I really like the way that that looks. And so that looks pretty cool. Now, once I have, you know, that, I can go ahead and look for some colors that I like. And so you can go with any sort of fun boho style colors. If you're not sure, by the way, you can go to Elements, search boho, and see what comes up. And what you're going to get is a lot of these a little bit more bland colors. So nothing's really bright, everything's a little bit more muted, a little bit more natural tones here. And so what you can do if you find any of these colors that you like would be use some of the colors that you see here. And so you can bring those up and then use the eyedrop feature to match that color exactly, for example. So let's say I took this little flag here, and let's say that I really like sort of this color right here. I don't even know what you would call that. But what I can do is, let's say I want moms to be that color. I can go to text color. It's already pulled up the colors of the flags. If it hadn't pulled up the colors of the flags that I could just click on, you could always go here and use your little eyedropper feature to hover over anything on your page to match that color. But let's say I did something like that. And so that is how I could go ahead and get different colors there. And of course, I could do that, you know, from multiple different things. So let's say I want this to be almost that sort of yellowy color. I could bring this up so it didn't bring up the colors, use my eyedropper feature, go over and steal that yellow. And so this is how I could get different combinations, yay, sale, of colors that look nice together and sort of fit that sort of boho style. And so, for example, there is colors that worked together that I just took off of one of these graphics where the colors were already matched. And so that is an easy way sometimes to go about getting different colors when you're not quite sure what looks good together. See what has already been put together. And so that's pretty simple there. I think with the moms, though, that is a little bit darker than I'd like for a black background. Now you could completely switch and design this for a white shirt. So sometimes with those boho things, the white shirts look good. So if I was going to do something like that and go ahead and just totally switch to white shirt, I could do it that way. And that might actually be kind of cool. Maybe I need this then to be a little bit darker even. So I can always play with these once I have them and just go ahead and darken it up a little bit or brighten it up a little bit. So maybe make it a little bit more colorful, right there. So something like that. And so you can already see how we can start to play with these. So if I wanted it to be on a white background, I could do it that way. If I want to keep it on a black background, I might play with it a little bit more to make it lighter or be brighter, or something that's going to pop more. But obviously we can see how we can play there. I'm going to take this now and I'm going to group these together because I want them to be centered. And then from there, so I'm going to hit group. I'm going to go ahead and make this nice and centered in my page. Bring it up a little bit. Maybe bring it over a little bit. And then from here, what we're going to do is add a little bit of decor. So I like some of these. So let's say I was to take some of these little boho elements here, and I was going to, put that down there like that. So I could do something like that. And right now, this is giving me two different colors that I could use here in the fonts, by the way. So lots of ways I could go with that. But there's all sorts of different boho style designs. There's leaves that look kind of cool. You've always got sort of the moon and sun thing going on. And here is where you can just play. And most of these will allow you to change the colors, and so you can use the colors however you like. And so anything that I think might look good in terms of, you know, filling space, that I think might fit well in the space, I can do. Little flowers, little butterflies, anything that sort of goes with that whole boho style. I got the arrows. So lots of fun boho style stuff. I'm going to go up to the top now, because before I was just looking for colors. Now I am looking more shapes. This is a little bit transparent. I don't want anything transparent. So I'm just looking for some fun things to fill some of these spaces. Here's a nice flower here that looks kind of cool. Something like that. Now again, if I was going to do this on a white background, I would also need to make sure that all of my little elements are going to show up too. So if I decided I wanted a white shirt, I do want to make sure that like the flowers and whatnot that I pick are going to work. And so I'm just going to continue to sort of go down here and see what I've got that looks good. And if I find anything, I can just sort of play with it and see where it, you know, works and where it doesn't work. I like this one a little bit better than this one. It's a little bit smaller and wider. Let's see, there's probably a lot more of those that I can use too. So I can just keep looking, and you can play, no need to rush. So you can also go ahead and narrow your search too. So I did a broad search of boho, and then I went ahead and narrowed it down to like just boho flowers to see what kind of flowers I could come up with. And I liked this little grouping here, which is what I put there. And you can see that this little grouping here almost matches these colors perfectly. And because these all colors can be changed, I am going to make sure that they all match at the end. But that is one way you can do it. Another, if I'm looking more for these like moon stuff and I can't find what I'm looking for, another fun place to search would be tarot, like tarot cards. Sorry, tarot. And so if you go to the tarot cards, there's all sorts of fun tarot card designs, by the way, but you're going to get a lot more of these sort of moon and stars that can look really cool. And so some of these are things that you could also use. So for example, here is one right here that looks pretty cool, and it has the moon and sun and stars, and it fits pretty nicely there. And this one, again, I can change the colors. So this might be one that looks cool in pink or whatnot, depending on what shade I want to put it. But you can see how I can totally make that look pretty cool. And so don't be afraid to look at other kind of sources. So the tarot card one is pretty cool in terms of getting some of those more astronomical sort of style of designs there. And so, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and stick with what I have here, and let's play with the colors a little bit more and just make sure the sizing looks good. So I do want to keep this pretty simple. You do, you know, want the boho style designs to look simple and nice. I'm going to play with some of my angles here. I do want this one to be a little bit more on the green side, maybe the same color of green as this one, which would be that right there, would make those two the same color green. Then I've got sort of this pink and this pink. And so what I could do here is try to make my pinks match. So I can go to my color pink, and now it's the same color as that one. And then I'm thinking this flower here, maybe instead of the gray flower, I want that to be the yellow color that I have so that they all sort of go together and they all sort of have just that light pink middle, which looks nice. So far, so good. There, I don't necessarily want the say bad words and the stars to be the exact same shade, so I may end up playing with those to see if I can get slightly different colors there. So let's see what I can come up with. And so I decided that this might look a little bit better in that darker color, and so I played with the colors a little bit to make sure everything is matching, everything pops, the whole thing looks pretty good. Now, right now, everything looks shifted to the right, so when I'm all done, I can group it together and shift it back over to make sure that it's nice and centered. So, but I do want to make sure that I have everything the way I want it first in terms of my spacing and whatnot. I might bring that one up a little bit more. So I like these leaves, but I might want some leaves that are a little bit denser and look like they go together a little bit more, because these are a little bit more pointy and these are a little bit rounder. So maybe I look for some leaves that look like they match a little bit better. So I can always do that and still go back up to elements. And let's try really quick to see if I find anything better that I like. Boho leaves and see what I've got that looks kind of cool. And so still lots of different simple leaves. You can also put simple leaf style and see if you find any that you think look a little bit better. Otherwise, you know, anything you put is okay. There's also these kind of hollow ones too, if you wanted more hollow style versus the solid style. So lots of different ways that we can go with playing with this. But remember, keep it simple. Less is more when we're doing this whole boho style. So, you know, if you find ones that you like better, great. If not, you know, stick with what you've got. Okay. So after playing for a little bit, this is what I ended up coming up with in terms of my colors and graphics. And so I think that that looks pretty good. I ended up using the same leaf pattern here and just flipping it. That way I know that it works pretty well. Actually, they're not quite the same. No, they're different. Sorry, I lied. But they still have those little pointed looks to them, and they both curve. So very similar. What I can do here now would be to group this whole thing together. So go ahead and go over everything and group it. And then what we can do is center it in the page a little bit more. And so when I do that, it's going to look a little bit more centered. And right here, because that stuck out, it didn't quite center exactly as much as I'd liked. So I can, again, just use my arrow keys to try to get that as centered as I can so that it looks good there. Let's see. So that looks pretty cool. So I like the way that that looks. It does pop okay on a white shirt. And of course, if I was to go ahead now, switch the background color to black, I can still see it on a dark colored shirt. And so it gives that cool boho style, but it is still a mom shirt. Good moms say bad words, and this is very in style right now. So I can go ahead and title it here, Good Moms, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and hit share, download. It's a PNG. It's going to be a transparent background, and then you'll hit download, and it will be ready to go on whatever you like. Obviously, this was made for a shirt, but this would also look really good on something like maybe a tote bag. It might look good on a sweatshirt. It might look good actually on a mug, on the front of a mug, for example, or on the front of a tumbler, as sort of that sort of wraparound style. And so lots of different ways that you can go about thinking about these style of designs. But nice, simple design. And so I hope this was clear for you guys. Play around. This is the fun part where you just get to be creative and play with different things. And the more you play with it, the better you get. And the more that you learn different styles, obviously, the more you're able to expand your portfolio. And so it's good to have all of these different skills under your belt, so that you can make any kind of design that is popular right now. And so just keep playing. And keep growing and keep, expanding your portfolio. Remember, the more designs that you have and the more styles that you have, the more likely you are to make sales. And since we are here to make sales and to make money, it just makes sense that you can go ahead and just expand to as many different niches, as many different styles, using as many different techniques as is possible. If you have questions, drop it in the comment section below. I will try to get back to everybody as quickly as I can. If you have video requests, you can put those in the comments section below. I'll try to get back to those or add those to my list whenever I'm able to. I know I've gotten lots of requests for different things that I haven't gotten around to yet. It's on the list. And I just hope you guys are doing really well. That's it for today's video. If you found that useful and would like to see more videos with helpful tips and tricks, be sure to hit like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any of the weekly videos. As always, keep growing and stay creative, and we'll see you next time.